Okay, so I've been meaning to make this video for a while. It's the instructions on how to read StatVolley stat sheet. So I have my notes here on the side to hopefully make sure I don't forget anything. And yeah, so we'll just get started. So this is a match, France versus Slovenia. I believe it's from the Paris Olympics. So the first thing I want to point your attention to is that each of the blue links are clickable. So what that means is, let's look at, let's see, Trevor. According to the stat sheet, he had 8 kills. So if we actually click on his number of kills, it's going to take us to clips of all the kills that he's had. So let's just go back. Okay. The other thing that I want to mention is that each of the columns are sortable. So if you instantly want to see who had the most kills, you could just click on the kills column and it'll sort by that column. So let's see, metrics in blue. Okay, we've gone over this. So we could just remove those. Okay. So you'll also notice that on most places on the stat sheet, you can put your mouse over each item to give you more information. So we can see that that this link is going to show us all kills for Jean Patry. Okay. Tips. So this should be review for most people, but for some people who don't know, kills are obviously every single time someone attacks the ball and scores. A continue is short for play continue. And what that means is if you attack the ball, but the team is able to defend it. They don't necessarily have to put it back over the net, because obviously they could make an error by hitting the ball into the net or hitting it out of bounds. But it continues every time you attack a ball and it doesn't score. An error is every time you attack a ball and make a mistake. Now, when we're taking stats, we include getting blocked as an error. Oftentimes, some teams don't do that, but when the stats are being taken by a StatVolley scout, we do include blocks as errors. Okay. Then we have the hitting percentage, which is the total kills divided by the total number of attacks. Then you have hitting efficiency, which is kills minus errors divided by total attacks. Obviously, total is the total of all the sets that the player received. Okay. Okay, in the next section, we have serving. And the serving is based on a 4-point system. So an S4 would be a service ace, and an S0 would be a missed serve. Okay, and then these are the various ratings for serving that we're not going to get into any detail on. Then you have your serving average. So what that's based on is when you serve, we're also rating the reception of the other team. So it's an average between 0 and 4. Obviously, the higher the number, the better. The percentage is the total percentage of serves that you've served in. Total, obviously, is the total number of serves. Next, we have the defense column. Let me make sure that explain. Just want to make sure I'm staying on track. Okay, don't need that. All right, so for defense, we have blocks, stuff blocks, and we have digs, which I think are fairly self-explanatory. For reception, we're tracking, it's the reception rating system is out of 3. So a perfect pass would be an R3 for reception 3. An RO would be if you got aced. And again, we have the average, which is an average of all these numbers put together. Percentage, This is percentage perfect. So this is the number of or the percentage of receptions that are perfect receptions. I know that with other stat sheets or other stat programs, a 2 is considered a perfect pass or a good pass, but this metric is only perfect passes. Okay, and then you have the total number of receptions. General errors are errors that don't, the GE category stands for general error, and that's for any error that doesn't fall under the other error categories in this list. For example, I'm trying to think, like a ball handling error would be a general error. Then you have the total number of points. So points are all either going to be kills, service aces, or blocks. Okay, these are done. Okay, so in the first column, you have the list of the players. These are just the stats for this particular match. But if you wanted to see the player's cumulative stats, you could click on the player's name, and it opens a new window that'll show the player's cumulative stats. And it also shows all the individual matches. So if you wanted to just see, you don't want to see all the stats, you just wanted to see whichever stats were against Serbia, you could just click on France men versus Serbia, and it will show you the stats from that match. Right. So by default, this shows all of them, but you can click on individual matches. You can also click on a date to isolate the matches that you just want to see, or the group of matches that you want to see. So let's say we only wanted to see these 2 matches. So we would go 2025, 8th, which is August. So let's say start the 3rd, let's go to the 12th. And then let's go to the 15th. Actually, let's go to August 15th. Okay, let's go August 14th and get matches. And that will show you the 2 matches that are being combined for these metrics. Okay, let's go back. Delete that. Okay. On any given stat sheet, you can also just sort the stats or isolate the stats by set. So in this match, if you wanted to see just the stats from the first set, you just click on set 1. And it'll show you the stats for just the first set. Click on all. And it takes you back to the full stat sheet. Okay. So in this instance, we're only taking stats on France. We're not taking stats on Slovenia. But there are some metrics that are automatically, or that we can calculate based on the stats that we've taken for France. Let me explain further. There are, like, even when we're only taking stats for one team, there are certain stats that we take, just general stats, not assigned to a specific player for the opponent. So the information that we can get in that instance is we track the number of kills that the other team gets. We track their reception average, and that's just calculated based on our serving average. The percentage perfect of their receptions, the total receptions, and we also track any errors that the opposing team makes. Okay. Now, if we move on to the all clips section, so the first link is all clips from this match. Now, what that is it'll show you all the plays from this match with all the timeouts and time in between plays cut out. So if we were to just click on that, right, it's going to show you the full match and all the metrics for the match, or not the metrics, but the actual codes for the match, with all the plays and stuff cut out. So let's just pause that. Okay, so this table shows you all the codes that get recorded when we stat the match. It can be a little bit difficult to understand, so there's actually a translate button that you can just click that and it translates it kind of into English. So we could see number 2 pass to 3, number 11 set a P12 to the outside, number 19 got a kill to zone 5. Let's see what else is in. Okay. All right. So every time, let's just remove this because we've gone over that part. So at any point, whenever you click on a metric, let's go back to, actually, no, this is fine. At any point when you click on either the stats or all clips from this match, in the table, you'll see a column labeled COR. Now, if your coach has enabled this, and you're looking at your stats and you see that there's an error, you could click on it and then specify what the error is and then submit that correction and someone will take a look at it. Okay. Now, if you click on the score column or a link in the score column, it's going to show you what the score was at that point in the match. So if you click that, it opens another window and it shows you what the score was at that time. Okay. Okay. So the highlight clips, you'll notice that there's these links above the table of plays or the list of plays. Stat sheet will obviously send you back to the stat sheet. Refresh clips will refresh what's listed here. Highlight clips. Now what that does is if you click that, it gives you the option to add an individual play to your personal highlight video or to a highlight video. So this also has to be enabled by your coach. If he hasn't enabled it, you'll get an error. But since for this example, we've enabled it, so you just click on add. Okay. Now, in order to add a clip to your highlight video, you'll need a password, and that will come from your coach. So you just enter your password. This is the start time and end time of the clip in seconds. You can add a note to your highlight clip, and you can also specify what order you want this clip to appear in. The details of how to make a highlight video are going to be saved for another video. I don't want to get too much into that right now because I suspect that this video is going to be pretty long as it is. So we'll just close that out. Okay, got all this. Delete that. Okay, set out tendencies. So let's go back to the stat sheet. Okay, so for the show set out tendencies, if you click that, you click the drop down, it'll give you both options. Since we didn't take stats on Slovenia, we won't have any set out tendencies for them, but we did on France. So you could just click that link and it opens this window. Now, what this will show is what the teams tend to run off of reception when the setter's in each position. So if I click this, it's going to show what the setter ran off reception when he was in position 1. And you can see that of the total sets, he likes to go P12 outside and P75. So he likes to set the pins, right? It's also going to show you what the last 5 plays were, or the last 4 plays. I can't remember when they were in that rotation. And if you want to actually watch the rotation, you can click on the link and it'll show you that specific play. So if the top column will show you what they're running off of reception. The second button underneath is going to show you what they ran off of a perfect pass. Right? So these are the plays that they ran off of a perfect pass. Now, these numbers at the bottom represent the types of sets. So, and it's based on the old school numbering system where the net is divided into 7 zones, with zone 1 being in position 4 and zone 7 being at the far antenna in position 2 behind the setter. So the first number denotes the location along the net. The second number denotes how high the ball is above the net. So a P15, for example, would be a high ball out in position 4. Okay. So let's close that. Okay, serve reception points. Server's reception points. All that does is show, let's just click that. So side out rate. All this does is, this is the cumulative stats, or is this the, no. These are the cumulative stats. These are the stats for that particular match. And it just shows how many points, actually it shows the side out rate depending on, the side out percentage, depending on how you pass. So in this example, they sat out at a rate of 53.1%. Off of a 3 pass, they sat out at 68.9%. Not real useful for an individual player, just something that maybe the coaches may want to look at. Let's close that. Okay. So we have this. Okay. Then we have setting efficiency. So basically what that does is it shows us how efficient our setters are when they set specific sets. So let's see, the setter on this team is Antoine. So if we click that, okay, it shows you how efficient, excuse me, the attack percentage and the attack efficiency for the setter based on each set. So if we just clicked on this to sort it, we could see that the P83, which is a pipe, they score at 71%. And the efficiency is also 71%. Of course, there's only 7 sets, but you get the idea of what this calculates. It just shows us how efficient our setters are for each set. Now, you can also see how effective a particular player is when they're set by this particular setter. So when Antoine sets Trevor, when he set him in this match, let's see, his overall attack percentage was 67. No, the overall percentage, sorry, is at the bottom. So his overall attack percentage is 36% with a 14% efficiency. I forgot to show that with Antoine as well. So his total attack percentage when players are hitting off him is 44%, and his attack efficiency is 31. Okay. You can also, again, choose specific dates in order to filter which matches you want to include in your analysis. Okay, so we'll just close that. All right. Delete this. Okay, hitter efficiency by set type. Okay, so let's take a look at Jean-Patry. Okay, and so you can see how effective he is when he's hitting specific balls. So overall, his attack percentage is 36% and his attack efficiency is 23. If we want to see, and then we could see each set and what he hits off of each set. Okay, so let's click on that, sort. So his best set seems to be a P12, which is a shoot on the outside. Next is a P72, which is like a back shoot. 41% is a P95, which is a back row out of position 1. So yeah, you can see what each setter, what his attack percentage and his attack percentage and attack efficiency is by each individual set. Okay, so we could close that. Finish that. Almost done. Okay. Let's see. Code search. Now, let me go back a bit. So when you're looking at a set of clips, you'll notice that there's all these codes that represent the statistics that were taken. So let's go back. What the code search is it allows you to isolate your clips based on those codes. Okay, so I think the best way to explain this would be to use an example. So if we want to see every single time Antoine, the setter, set a P12 off of a perfect set, which should be an R3 dash R3. We can choose his name. Since the reception comes before he touches the ball, this would be the code before the player. And this would be the code after he's touched the ball, so the P12. And then we would just click on List Clips, and it'll show you every single time that Antoine set a P12 outside off of a perfect reception. Okay. Let's go back. Now, when we go to the detailed search, this is just a combination of options that allow, it's very similar to this, except for a little bit possibly more user-friendly. So it just allows you to, again, isolate specific clips based on certain criteria. So if we wanted to see all Jan's, I have my example here. We have, let's choose Jan. All his, let's see, all his blocks. Blocks. When the setter is in zone 5, setter in 5. Oop, this is the setter in zone 5 in the second set. Okay. So we've selected the player, we've selected the skill that we want to view, the location of the setter, the set. If we had taken notes, on that actual clip, then we could search by the notes as well, right? So let's click on List Clips. Okay, so twice when Jean got blocks, when the setter was in 5 in the second set. Okay. Okay, if we want to see video clips of a hitter hitting a specific ball, resulting in a kill or an error, we can do that as well. So in this example, we're going to use Trevor. When he was hitting a P12, and he made a hitting error. Okay. And that'll show us all those clips. Okay. Okay, so the last section we're going to look at is zone placement by percentage. So so we're going to start with serving. Let's see, what example do I have? Okay, so let's look at Antoine. And this is the breakdown of where he's serving. So let's go. Oops. Antoine. Okay, so this shows when he's serving, where he's serving the majority of his balls. So 5 out of 21 balls, he's served down the line, because this is the net. This is the opposing court. The majority of balls, he seems to serve right into 6. And at any time, you can click on these numbers, and it'll show you the actual serves. Okay. Now, the thing is that these are an estimation. Okay, so say Antoine served the ball down the line, but he served it into the net, right? We're going to estimate, based on the velocity of the ball and the angle of the serve, where the ball would have landed up if it didn't hit the net. When I show you the attacking zones in a second, it will also, it works in the same way. Okay, so now the last thing that I want to go over in this video is the attacking zones. So you'll choose a player. Let's choose Trevor. And when you choose Trevor, it's going to show you all the types of balls that he's been set in this match. Okay, so if we click on P15, which is a high ball outside, right, it's going to show you where he hit all the balls, right? He tends to hit high and deep, so that's what it shows. P83, which is if he hit a pipe, right? Majority of the balls, he's hitting straight ahead. P12, he's mixing it up a little more. Again, say, for example, he tried to hit a ball across court and got blocked. We would estimate where the ball would have landed, and then we would stat that accordingly. And just like the serves, you can click on any link or any of these buttons, and it'll show you the actual clips of him attacking those balls. So let's go ahead and do this. Right. That's going to show you the 2 plays that he ended up attacking. Right. So that one, it was blocked, but we assumed it was going there, so that's where it was statted. Okay. And that's basically it for this video. Hopefully it was informative.